since March. We can now go live to Washington, D.C. to speak to Dr. Eric Mandel, Director of Middle East Political and Information Network. Dr. Eric, really great to have you on the show. Thank you for your time with me today. The situation... Pleasure. The situation remains highly unstable in Lebanon, with ongoing Israeli military strikes, civilian casualties, and continued exchanges of fire. Is Lebanon, in your opinion, currently in a high-risk conflict escalation phase, despite the ceasefire efforts we've seen?
So we should not misunderstand the word ceasefire for lack of fighting. This is the ceasefire which really isn't. Hezbollah is actively fighting. Israel is trying to further degrade Hezbollah. Israel is limited because the president has constraints on what Israel can do in offensive activities. But we must remember that we wouldn't be in this situation if Lebanon had disarmed Hezbollah as it had claimed on December 31st, 2025 in southern Lebanon. And the reason is because the Lebanese armed forces and the government say they are not allowed to go into private people's homes. I've been investigating this region for a very long time. And there are missiles and weapons in almost every private house in almost every one of the hundreds of villages in southern Lebanon. But we shouldn't forget, Hezbollah is still the big power there. And as far as Israel goes, and this is unstated, but I think your audience should know about this, is that the Lebanese armed forces and the Lebanese government want Israel to degrade Hezbollah further because the Lebanese armed forces is either at this point unwilling or incapable of doing the disarming as demanded by UN Security Council Resolutions 1701 and 1559.
And I appreciate what you've said regarding Lebanon and degrading Hezbollah, but I also do believe, and the Lebanese government has said it themselves, just the scale of civilian deaths is unacceptable in the country, and that civilians should be protected against these Israeli strikes. And as I said to you, over 3,000 Lebanese killed since March the 2nd.
So I think we need to take everything with a grain of salt. You need to remember that Hezbollah, like Hamas, uses human shields, is in private civilian areas, which according to international law are places that are still legitimate targets according to national law. I have been over many years, over decades, with Israeli units firing against adversaries. And I have seen, and I hope my army here in the United States is as ethical as they are in being precise in their targeting of what goes on. As far as civilians dying, nobody should minimize any civilian deaths. It is horrific. It is terrible. It is unfortunately war. As far as taking the health statistics from the Lebanese government, they're a lot better than the Hamas, in Gaza, the Hamas statistics, but there's no differentiation here in what we're hearing between combatants and civilians or civilians that were placed in harm's way.
Dr. Eric Mandel, it's really interesting when you say that to me, because when I put that argument to the Israelis regarding Hamas, they had exactly the same answer. But I just want to move on, because Iran's supreme leader says his country is putting up a unique resistance against the US and Israel. How might the ongoing escalation in southern Lebanon targeting Hezbollah affect broader regional stability?
Well, Hezbollah, we should realize, according to Walid al-Faqih, which is guardianship of the jurist, that Hezbollah is a division of the IRGC, and they follow the orders of the supreme leader, or what I believe more is the IRGC running Iran at this point of time. People try to say these are two separate conflicts. In reality, they're not. If Hezbollah is a division of the IRGC, then there's obviously these two conflicts are one in the same. And obviously, Iran would like to have a stoppage of Israeli actions against Hezbollah. But from an American point of view, and I'm not speaking to you from Congress, that the American national security, we look at Hezbollah and Iran of how many American civilians and soldiers have died over the years, going back over the 47 years of Iran since they came into power, whether it's IEDs in Iraq or whether it's been terrorism around the world. So the Hezbollah, if Israel continues just to fight Hezbollah, but not fight, as the Israelis would say, the head of the octopus in Iran, then there's going to be more mowing of the grass again and again, which means that war will continue. The only thing that's going to change Iran is a regime collapse by hopefully regime change for the positive, because we know that the vast majority of the Iranian people, and it includes all the desperate minorities from Kurds, Azaris, Luks, Lors, Arabs, and the majority Persians, want to get rid of this repressive regime. That is the ultimate answer. It doesn't seem to be my country's plan to get rid of the regime at this time, but that would be the ultimate answer, and that would also degrade Hezbollah and other proxies like the Houthis and Hamas.
Dr. Eric, just before I let you go, just very briefly, sorry, not much time left, but Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson says Pakistan's interior minister is in Iran to facilitate the exchange of messages. We're getting that from Iranian media right now. What's your reaction? Do you think in 60 seconds that we're going to see a ceasefire deal?
It is possible, but it would probably mean that the President Trump, would have had to have capitulated and claimed some type of victory if the Straits of Hormuz were opened and the blockade ended. But if the regime remains in place, the regime believes if it survives, it is the victor. In many ways it is. And who is most fearful of that besides Israel and besides degrading American national security interests? The Gulf nations, who can't pick up their country, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, can't go and move some other place. They're going to have to then accommodate the very angry Iran going down the road, and that is not going to be a good situation for the global energy.
Dr. Eric Mandel, great to have you on. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.